part where you stop talking and you start listening. I assume I don't need you guys to check your schedules. I assume you know you have all 4 classes that you're supposed to have: language arts, science, social studies, history, whatever, math. Okay. You need a pencil out right now.
You need paper?
I need you to move over here to this row, because you can get a little bit closer if you come over there. Yeah. No, you don't need paper. If you have a highlighter, that might be useful too. Alright, let me explain first of all why I had you all get up and move closer to the front. This is a small class, there's no reason we can't all be in here close. Think of it like going camping, okay? If you go camping and it's really cold, and someone builds a fire, you don't stand 50 yards away to get warm, right? You get as close as you can. And excuse me, one other comment I'll ask, and then you can raise your hand. That's kind of how things work. We take turns that way. Okay? Need to get your head up, please. Yeah. Thank you. I'll explain that in a second, too. But the information for this class, the information you're going to get, most of it is going to come from up here. There's no textbook. It's going to come from me, from what I show up here on the board. Okay? And the closer you are to that information, the more likely you are to absorb it. People who choose to sit in this row tend to get more A's. People who choose to sit in the back tend to get more F's. That's good to hear. As a general rule, though, that's usually true. Because the people that are sitting up front are going to absorb more information, they're going to stay awake, they're going to pay more attention than the people that are sitting in the back. I'm a lot less interesting from 50 yards away than I am from 2 yards. You just have to trust me. Excuse me, beginning. We don't want to burst out, okay? I'm going to provide a lot of information up here. I'm going to do a lot of demonstrations up here, and you're not simply going to be able to see them from the back. So closer is better. I mean, if this were a concert, these are the expensive seats, right? You'd want to get as close to the stage as possible. Well, same thing here. And I don't charge extra. I used to, a few years ago, I would collect extra money from those who would sat up front. I got in trouble. I'm just kidding. Same price, guys. These cost just as much as those, but you get more information. So if you have a choice in your other classes as to where to sit, choose up front. Just by making that choice alone, without getting any smarter, you're more likely to do well in that class than the ones who sit in the back. When you get to college and you're paying for your own instruction, you'd be surprised. Sometimes people even fight over the front seat. They try to get in early and sit in the front seats. I know you're laughing, you don't believe me, but it's true. Okay. All right. Again, guys, I'm tired. This has been 5 straight periods of me saying the same thing over and over and over again. It gets a little old, so I won't have much patience for having to stop for people that are talking over it. Okay. Yes. Yes. Still do this. Okay? Same thing for the syllabus. Yes. The rat is my friend. He's my lab rat. Okay? I'll tell you more about that later. Here's what we're going to do now. Okay? I'm sure you guys have all gotten a syllabus like this in your other classes and probably thought, this is boring reading. I'm not going to be graded on this. You have a quiz on this. Okay? So what I want you to do as I'm going to go through and take roll is you're going to take that time to read the front and back of that first page. The last page is something different. I'll explain that later. To read that and highlight, circle, underline, whatever you think are the important points. Obviously, the stuff that's in bold type or big letters is probably more important. So you want to make that stand out as well. Maybe even take some notes on this. As you're doing that, I'm going to be doing roll. Now, I want to tell you about one of my rules right off the bat. because it's going to be a common one in here that I'm going to have to remind you. I don't allow students, don't read yet, okay? Just hang on a sec. I don't allow students to do this or this in class. Do you know why?
This is the fall asleep on.
Exactly. Because this leads to this, which leads to all-out snoozing and little pools of drool on the desk that I have to go wipe up afterwards. Okay? So, if you feel yourself getting a little drowsy, you need to sit upright, not slouch down more, and not rest your head on your hand. If you are so sleepy that you are physically incapable of supporting your head with your own neck muscles, you probably should stay at home or go see a chiropractor or something. Okay? You need to stay attentive. Yes? I won't give you a hard time about that when you're reading. It's more when I'm up here lecturing. When I don't, I know some of you even do this. Try to read your book or your favorite by putting your head on the desk next to it. I don't have a problem with that. Good question. Okay? So, you're going to read this now as I go through and do the roll. Here's how we're going to do the roll. I'm going to call out your last name. I will probably mispronounce it. Would you please not do that? I'd like you to move over here to this row. I'm going to call out your last name. If I mispronounce it, please correct me. I want to make sure I'm saying it right. Some people don't correct me until the end of the year. I'm going to do President PowerPoint. Just to do these. I realize I'm not going to be able to give you enough time to read it all now. I'm going to talk about a lot of it too, but I'd encourage you to read this all the way through. I know you probably think, well, this is just like all the others. It's not. My rules are different. My expectations are different. This class is different. And you need to know those differences so that you don't get caught later on trying to turn in work and not being able to do that because you didn't follow the rules, okay? Let me just have you take that index card first. We're going to fill that in that little info card. I need you to turn it on the line side of the line, so that the red line is at the top, or that pink line or whatever. Over on the left-hand side, above the pink line, foot, fit, or fit period. Please print, if you will. It makes it a lot easier for me to read. In the middle, hopefully you know your gender. One question you can get right today. Male or female. And then in the upper right-hand corner, I want to know what kind of science student you are. It's in your best interest to be honest about this. So give me your letter grade that you earned in science for the year for last year. If you went someplace else, that's fine. If you were homeschooled, just give me the kind of science student that you think you are. Do you typically get A's, B's, C's, D's, or F's? Okay? That goes in the upper right-hand corner. Then 4 lines down, you're going to print your first and last name as it appears on your schedule. Okay, so no nicknames here. And then beneath that, your badge number. If you were at McGee last year and you remember your badge number, write that down. If you weren't here or don't remember, don't worry about it, just leave it blank. Again, I need this even if I already had you in exploratory science, I still need this for this period. Make sure you get that done. Once you've completed the card, turn it face down and I'll know that you're ready for me to move on. Okay, so it's going to be cool. I'm glad we've got small classes here this particular period. Not all of my periods are this way because we will do a lot more with a smaller class. But here's kind of an overview of what we're going to cover today. Number 1, first thing is we're going to discuss what science is. Hopefully by the time you've had 8 or 9 years of science education since kindergarten, you might be able to tell me what science is. I'm going to go over the units that we'll be covering. I'm going to discuss the syllabus, the rules, and get more into the daily routine tomorrow. That's the thing you have in front of you. Again. Quiz is the last thing, so we're going to have a little quiz on all this information. Head up, please. Again, as we're going through the syllabus, the thing I gave you there, you might want to underline, highlight, circle things that are important so they stand out. All right. So, well, let me back up. What is science? Can you give me a definition of science? You've done this now for 8 or 9 years. What do you think?
Why is it that the study of human
Very good. Covers a lot. Would you change that at all? Different definition? No? That one's good? Okay. Anyone want to add or subtract from that? What do you think?
To study how things work through
Okay. How things work through steps? Yes.
Most things that end in all of you have to do with
Excellent. Most like, give me an example.
what is complicated.
Etymology, biology. Or like, how about onomy, like astronomy? But you're right. The truth is it's hard to come up with something that isn't science. What's not science?
Fashion.
Fashion's not science. Okay, I would agree with that, but is there any science involved in fashion?
Yes.
If you are a fashion designer, is it useful to have any science knowledge? No. Can you give me an example of how science, excuse me, can you give me an example of how science knowledge might be useful in fashion? Fabrics. Which fabrics are cooler than others, right? Some of them give off the moisture better than others. Some of them hold that moisture in. Absolutely. My point is this, guys, is that, a lot of times in school you're just forced to go to this class or that class, and you're thinking, this isn't going to be helpful to me. I'm not going to need to know science. I'm going to marry some rich guy, or I'm just going to pour concrete. I don't need to know science. The truth is, the truth is that every job, everything you do in life is going to have some science involved. If you're going to be a homemaker and you're going to cook, is there science involved in that? Absolutely. If you're going to pour concrete, is there science involved in that? You think weather and temperature have anything to do with how that concrete's going to harden? Yep. Pretty much anything you can think of, I can show you how science is important in that. And when you learn how to do what a scientist does, what does a scientist do? They try to put on shoes? I missed that. What?
Okay, how do you scientifically put on shoes?
Okay, well, if I'm going to tie my shoelaces and they keep coming undone, what do I often do?
Double knot.
Double knot them, right? And I happen to know, you may not have called it science, but you knew that solution to double knot them, right? That's science. You knew that somehow that was going to make it stay on better. I happen to know that the double knotting increases the friction and makes it less likely for them to come undone. And I also happen to know that if I change from cotton shoelaces to nylon shoelaces, the nylon ones are going to come undone more often. I also know that round shoelaces will come undone more often than flat shoelaces. And I can tell you the science behind that. Now, you may say, well, that's not useful, but I can prove to you that almost everything you do, there's some science involved. Someone says, well, there's no science in history. Well, let me ask you this. If you're studying cultures and you see that a certain group of people became real powerful and took over a bunch of other countries, you ask yourself, well, why did they become powerful? Were they great at warfare? Why were they great at warfare? Did they have special swords? Did they learn how to forge their swords better than these people? Did they get more money because they figured out how to mine gold and where to find it? That's all science. See what I'm saying? So what isn't science? Very hard to come up with. A definition for science that I was given earlier today that I thought was really good is the study of the universe and everything in it.
The door.
The door? There's lots of science involved in the door. Would you like me to give you some?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, we're going to run out of time at some point. But when I'm going to apply the varnish to the door, I know that I need to sand it in order to get an even coat. I know that if I don't allow it to dry over a certain amount of time, that I'm not going to get an even finish. Okay? I know the temperature will affect that. No, they're just things that you pick up. And you don't even realize it. You learn little bits and pieces here and there, and you may not even call it science. You know, when you make a recipe and the cake doesn't rise quite right, or it doesn't taste quite right, what do? You change the ingredients, right? You put in different things, different chemicals, like vanilla or brown sugar. You know what you're doing? An experiment. Same thing a scientist does. And you'll use science when you teach your kid, you know. At some point, you're going to have to explain to your kid that what I have in my hands right here is... What's in there?
Nothing.
Air.
Science.
Oh, I got you on that. Air, okay? Now, a little preschooler will look at that and they're going to say there's nothing in there, right? Because they're going to use their senses, their sense of taste, touch, smell, hearing, to determine what's in there. Now, go ahead. I prepared some for all of you. Go ahead and capture some of that. Go ahead. Scoop it up. Let's do a little experiment. Come on, play along. Play along. If I'm going to look dumb, you're going to look dumb too. Play along. Scoop it up. Come on. Come on. Play along. I'm going to wait. Scoop up some air. Come on, we're going to do some experiments here. Play nice. Play nice. You got your air? Everyone's got their air? Okay, now, our first experiment. Observe your air. What do you see?
I see fingers.
Fingers. Very good. Some people said nothing. I see fingers. I don't see air, but I see fingers. Okay, smell your air. What do you smell?
Hands.
Is it Axe body spray?
Ew.
I smell hands.
Hands. Okay. Go ahead and listen to your air. What do you hear?
The ocean.
The ocean, exactly. And go ahead and, you know you want to do it. Taste your air. Minty. What do you taste?
I'm not looking at my hand. I taste dirt.
Some people just are too cool for this. They don't want to play along. Okay, you can let go. It's okay. You're off the hook. But when I say to you that I have the most valuable substance on the face of the earth in my hands, do you believe me?
Yes.
It's just not rare.
Well, just because it's not rare doesn't mean it isn't valuable, right? I mean, you give me a choice. A diamond or air to breathe. I think I'll take the air to breathe. Okay? What's in this can right now? Air. Okay?
There's
And
another can.
again, guys, a lot of this science knowledge you just take for granted. You don't realize how useful it is or how you are already using it. See if you can make some predictions here. So when I put the lid on, this lid happens to have a hole in it. If it didn't, this is a good way that I could test for air. I could prove that air actually exists. I could convince that preschooler that air is something. I could take a candle. I could put it in the can, right? I could light the candle on fire, and I could put the lid on. Would it stay lit?
No, it needs oxygen.
Would it go out immediately?
Yes. No.
No. It would continue to burn until
No oxygen.
no oxygen is in the air, right? So it wouldn't go out immediately. And that's one way to show that there is something in that can that's keeping that flame going. Or if you were less humane, you could put a little bug in there, right? No hole in the top, well, it's going to die.
If you put a cheeseburger in there.
So if your little brother or sister doesn't believe you that air doesn't exist, don't prove it to them by trying to strangle it, okay? That's not a good way of doing it. You got a comment? Quiet.
Last year, during my science class, we had to do an experiment. We had a tinfoil dish with water, a candle on a clay mount, and we would put the cup on top, and then after 15 seconds, it would
Yep.
stop stirring.
Exactly. That's the exact same experiment. Good. So here I have gas. They're all around the room. I will turn them off after today. Not that I don't trust them. Anyway, so I'll turn this on. And as the gas flows into the can at the bottom, what comes out the hole at the top?
Gas.
Gas and
Air.
air. Okay? It's going to push the air out. Air took up space in there. In order for the gas to go in, it's going to have to push some of that air out. So actually, in the can right now, is it just pure gas? No. It's gas and
Oxygen.
air, oxygen, mixed together. It didn't push out all the air. It's a mixture of it. Yes?
Insects mostly out mainly nitrogen.
Nitrogen's a huge part. Carbon dioxide. Oxygen makes up about, I don't know, 20% of the air you breathe. 78%?
About.
Yeah, that sounds right. Okay, so let me just show you again, because some people think this is kind of cool, some people don't. This can does have gas and air in it. Can you light gas and air on fire? Yes. So I'll come over here and I'll try to light this on fire. We'll see if we have any luck. No luck. Okay? The reason, no, it's not how long I did it. The reason it didn't light, head up please, is because in order to light it, it has to be flowing out of the can. It's in the can right now. In order for the gas and air to come out of the can, what do I have to do? No? Even tipping it over won't do it.
Put more gas in.
Open it, but that's true. Put more gas in it. Let me give you a hint. You guys have seen this before. Have you ever bought a big container of, I'm going to do it right here this side. A big container of water, you know, you put in your refrigerator, you open the little spout. You know what I'm talking about? No. The big things are like 2 gallons of water, you slide it on the shelf, it's got a little spout you open at the bottom. Anyone know what I'm talking about?
No.
Holy cow. Everyone has the filtered water on their refrigerator, right? Okay. Well, when you open that little spout, sometimes the water will just barely come out or won't come out at all. What do you have to do? No. What's your name? No, you don't need to tilt it. There's some other solution. Huh? Eric, can you do this for me?
Mix it with air.
Get one of the syllabus back there. And you need to do this part like you did in the other class. You need to let air in. I heard somebody say it. How?
By opening it.
Yeah, you poke a hole in the top. When you open this, water wants to come out, but in order for water to come out, air has to go into the container. If you don't let air go in and the water comes out, the container gets all squished. Ever seen that happen? Okay? So you need to let the air back in there. So if I want the gas and air to flow out of this can, I simply open one of these holes at the bottom, and now I can light it. See the flame? Air, you don't see the flame? A little blue flame right there. Air flows in and gas and air flow out.
What kind of gas is that?
That's natural gas.
Oh, so
Same kind you use at home for heating. Okay? Would you please straighten out your desk and put your feet down? Thank you. All right. So again, that's an experiment that I can conduct to answer a lot of questions. And you're going to use this knowledge in more ways than you probably can predict right now. These are the units that we're going to cover. They are measurements and processes. We're going to start tomorrow. That's learning how to be a good scientist, how to measure mass, volume, density, the skills of a scientist, how to use the metric system. After about 2 weeks, then we'll get into anatomy and physiology. You're going to hate me if you don't already. You're going to hate me then. This is probably the most demanding unit of the year. You're going to have to memorize a ton of muscles and bones and organs and all sorts of stuff. And you're going to have lots of tests and quizzes on it, and very few labs. It's going to be very demanding. Fortunately, though, this is something that really pays off. A lot of my students come back after high school, they say that really helped them in biology in high school. Okay? After that, because we don't have a lot of labs, we can't dissect a human being. We don't have a lot of labs, we're going to dissect frogs. Don't freak out about that. Some of you are nervous or anxious about it. Don't worry. After the first day, you'll be fine. It is a very interesting project, and you're going to learn more from that than any other. If you have questions about the frog dissection, you need to ask me after class. Okay? Forensic science. The forensic science comes right before, well, it's a month and a half or so of activity before we go on winter break. And this one I think you'll really like, because here it's nothing but listening to me lecture and doing worksheets and memorizing stuff. Okay, lots of homework. Here, 4 homework assignments the entire month and a half. So it gets a lot easier. Most of the work is done in class. Okay? When we come back from winter break, Electricity and magnetism is the next one. It's kind of my specialty. Lots of labs and projects with that, but the big one is building a circuit. Now, you kind of read about that a little bit already. It's one of the special projects. It's the reason I need you to bring in $15. I'm not going to have you guys go out and buy a bunch of...
Oh, look out!
That's not supposed to happen.
Come on, start clapping.
Okay, some of you knew that was going to happen and were waiting for it. You never know when things are going to blow up in this class, so that's my way of keeping you awake. By the way, this is a great way to demonstrate how your car works. Your car runs by little explosions. Two things mix in the engine and then explode. What are the two things? Gas and air, oxygen. You got it. They mix, they mix together in the engine in little cylinders called cylinders. And when the gas and air are lit on fire, they blow up. They combust, we say, all at once. And it pushes that cylinder out and makes the engine, the motor turn. Okay? That's the same thing that happened here. When the air and gas mixture were just right, everything lit on fire all at once inside the can. And when that happened, expanded. Hot air expands. And that's what we lit on. Okay? Again, a lot of science involved in what seems to be pretty harmless. Who would have expected that to blow up? I would expect it just to burn until it goes out, right? A little different when you have a candle. Alright. No more explosions, I promise. That's it. That I know of. So the $15 that you're going to bring in are for these projects. Most of it is for this circuit here. And the cool thing about that is you're really not paying any money to me. You're buying something for yourself. Head up, please. You'll get to keep this circuit when we're done putting it together, assembling it. Okay? They are custom built for you. It's not anything, excuse me. Could you turn and face this way a little more? Just swing, yeah. Swing your knees around this way. Come on. Make me feel special. Come on, more. There you go. That's better. Okay? This circuit is not anything you can buy at Radio Shack or at the store. They're custom designed for us by an engineer, and I have to order them well in advance to get them in time, which is why I'm asking you to bring the money in by 24th, next Friday. Hopefully you'll bring it in tomorrow. There's actually 3 homework assignments. That's one of them. Bring in the money, okay? The circuit takes a couple weeks to construct, and you'll get to keep them when we're done. Then we get into physics. Force, motion, speed, acceleration, Newton's law. Some of these may be familiar to you. I'm going to use those to build something called Rube Goldberg machines or devices. If you know what they are, how do they work? Whatever.
A series of random objects moving one after another to do something very simple.
Well, good, yeah. It's like a chain reaction. Ball rolls down, knocks over the dominoes. Dominoes trigger a mousetrap. Mousetrap pops a balloon. Balloon lets a glass fall. That kind of thing. Okay? And you'll demonstrate your knowledge of machines by building one of these. It'll take a couple of weeks, and you'll do that in teams. Robotics. We've got some Lego robots, pretty expensive little gadgets that you will be programming using the computer to do a certain task. I'll tell you more about that later. And then chemistry. That's to get you ready for high school chemistry. We save that for last because it's one of the trickier things. You can learn more about any of these by going to my website. There's lots of links there. I don't just have email, on my website. I have a calendar, I have a podcast, I have all sorts of things that can help you in this class. Videos, all sorts of links that might be useful. So if you want to learn more about those, you can go to the website. I'll show you that here in just a second. Let's look at the syllabus. We're going to go through this real quick and hit the highlights, and then we'll take a quiz. First paragraph, what's important there? What's important in the first paragraph? Your syllabus. Give you a hint, guys, it's the only thing in bold type.
What is the syllabus?
That's it right there. Describe the class. My website. Okay? If you didn't highlight that or you don't know where to find it, that is the address to my website. Tonight, when you go home to do your homework, you are going to type in that address. Okay? And you'll get my main page. If you don't have internet access, you'll have to get this from, go to a public library or go to a friend's house or someone that does. Okay? There's only a few occasions where I'm going to require you to do an internet assignment. This is one of them. What I want you to do is right here in red, stands out, it's going to go away in a few days, but this is what's up there right now. There are two websites. Click on the blue to bring that up, okay? I want you to evaluate, to read those websites and write a little paragraph that summarizes it. Just, 3, 4, 5 sentences, doesn't have to be a lot, that tells me what's the main information, what's the main idea from that website. So, paragraph for this website. Paragraph for this website. The third paragraph is going to tell me what you found similar and different between those two. What do they have in common? What is different? Compare and contrast, if you will. Got it? Tomorrow. 3 paragraphs, one from each website, third one comparing the two. This is a thinking exercise. Use all your powers of observation and you'll figure this sucker out. Okay? These two websites will seem like they have nothing to do with each other. They do have something in common, okay? And there are definitely things that are different. So that's your second homework assignment, is this. The third thing is this last page. Turn to it right now. It says learning contract. Because my rules are different than what you're accustomed to, I need to see that both you and your parents or guardians know these rules and know how they're different. For instance, your parents can't write you a note for being tardy. You have a doctor's appointment, you arrange that with the office, and you'll come in with a pass. You don't need to bring in a parent note. There's a lot of rules that I have that are different. So you'll need to sign this and your parents will need to sign this. I blank, that would be your parent's name would be written there. Guardian, parent or guardian of blank, that would be your name in the next space. Agree to the rules and blah, 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 blah. Okay? Agree to follow rules. If you got a second sheet, there are some things that are a little different for you. Then your parent signs and dates there and puts their email. Then I blank, that's you, your name goes right here. Student in Mr. Myers blank, what goes there? 5th. Period, class, agree to the rules, sign and date. If you can't agree to these rules or your parents can't, you need to go to another school or another teacher, which means a whole other team, which means a whole other schedule. Okay? These are the rules of the class. Questions?
Yeah, have we passed up our cards yet?
No. Thank you for reminding me though. Go ahead and pass up the cards now. Alright, back to the front side. I'm going to go through this pretty quickly now, because we don't have a lot of time and we want to take that quiz. In the assignments paragraph, what's the main, what are some important things in the assignment section? Yes?
Late work is not acceptable.
There you go. I couldn't make it stand out anymore if I tried. It's in bold type, all capital letters, and underlined. The only way I can make it stand out more is to have it flash on and off. Okay? Now there are exceptions. What's the exception? When will I take late work?
I've been absent.
Yeah, and how much time do you have to turn it in? Excellent. A day for every day you are gone. So, if you're absent 5 days, when you come back, you have 5 days from that point to turn things in. Or if we took a test, 5 days to make up that test, right? Whatever it was you missed. I'll talk a little bit more about the routine for being absent here in a second, but if you look at the bottom, you'll see 2 other things that stand out. All work is to be done in black, blue, or pencil. It's okay if you type it up. If you want to type up this assignment, that's great. But I don't want stuff turned in any other color but black, blue, or pencil. Here's why. I grade in red. It should stand out. And I cannot read a lot of these other colors that some of you ladies in particular like to use. I've had students girls turn in a worksheet that looks like it's completely blank. And I say, why are you giving this to me? It's blank. And they go, no, it's not. And then I realize that if I hold it up to the light and I turn my head sideways and squint a little bit and get it just right, I can see that it's written all in pink. But it's not easy to read at all. Okay? Black, blue, or pencil. Yes? black, blue, pencil. Okay? The other rule I have is, one of the problems with scientists is sometimes they know the answer, but they're not real good at communicating it. So when they try to explain to someone else, it either goes right over their head, or they just make it so confusing that they don't even sound that smart. Okay? You need to be able to get the answer, but you also need to sound intelligent when you communicate that answer. We do that by writing incomplete sentences. And I'll say this time and time again, but I'm telling you right now, that is the standing rule in here. I give you a worksheet, and it has blanks to fill in, unless it's really short and clearly designed for one-word answers, you're going to write a sentence that starts with
Capital.
and ends with
Period.
period or some sort of punctuation, right? And expresses a complete thought. Ever heard that part before? Because you can write something that has a capital and a period at the end. It's not a sentence. It has to make sense by itself. If you read that and it doesn't make sense to you by itself, that's not a complete thought. And I've had to remind students about this so many times that I've gotten so sick of repeating it. I have a t-shirt that says, write incomplete sentences.
Do?
A student made for me. I even recorded it right here. My little reminder. So if you're having a hard time remembering, sometimes I might just come by and just push a little button. Right?
Is there any other one on there?
Or sometimes I might just point to the snowflake to remind you, write incomplete sentences. If it's not in a complete sentence, you may very well get a 0. You will get a 0 on any parts that aren't written in complete sentences. Okay? The next part on this, and this is huge, okay? This is for those of you that are going to be absent, and I'm sure most of you will be absent at one point. Would you please move over to this row so you can get a little closer? Thank you. What if you're late? What's the first thing, I'm sorry, not late, if you're absent. What's the first thing you do when you return? Okay, if you come up and ask me, did we do, no, move all the way up. Did we do anything while I was gone? What do you think the answer is going to be? Yeah, okay. No, I'm going to say, no, we were so torn up that you were gone that we cried the entire period and we didn't get anything done. Yeah, it's sweet, but it's not true. We always do something, okay? So the answer isn't, did I miss anything? It's what did I miss? And you don't ask me. I have it available for you right back there. I have it available for you right here. See the whiteboard back there? This calendar right here is the same as the whiteboard. Actually, this has more, and it has every month. Excuse me. And I want you to pay careful attention to this. If you look back there, the whiteboard has some stuff written in blue and some written in black, just like this one up here. Anything written in blue, you must do. It says it up here, and it says it back there. If it's in blue, you must do it. For instance, the syllabus that you're going to have to return signed, excuse me, is right back there under the whiteboard. So all you do is you look up there and you go, oh, pick up a syllabus. Well, I pick up the syllabus. Okay, and you do it. Blue, you do. And it's going to be sitting right there. If it's a test, well, then you're going to have to come see me and arrange a time to make up the test, obviously. If it's written in black, like next week, we have a bunch of things written in black, they're labs. If it's in black, head up please, you get slack. That means you don't have to do it. You can't send home the stuff to do the lab with you. So you will be excused if, this is the important part, if you do the next thing. That's where it says using the excused assignment log, okay, right here. There's another sheet of paper right next to the first one. The first one is the excused assignment log. And it has a place for you to write your name, the date, the period, and the name of the assignment that you were absent for. If you don't put that information in there, when you come back from an absence, I'm just going to give you a 0 on the assignment, even if you were gone for it, even if it was written in black. Okay? So, if it's written in blue,
Do it.
do it. Pick it up and do it. If it's written in black, you don't do it, but But what do you do?
Write your name,
You fill in the sheet back there, the excused assignment log, okay? Again, guys, you gotta remember to do that. And people have a hard time picking up on this. I don't know why. It seems pretty straightforward to me. And they end up writing things that are written in blue on the log. You're not gonna be excused from those. I don't care if you write it on the log. Blue, you do. Black, you write down on the log if you're out. Any questions on it? Okay, real quickly now, let me just go on to the rest of this. Your grade comes from homework, labs, quizzes, and tests, and special projects. You want to hang on to everything that you turn in that's graded. You want to hang on to it. Proves that you did it, shows the grade that you got, and it's the only thing you have. Head up, please. Head up, please. It's the only thing you have to study from, I should say, for tests or quizzes. Any worksheets, those are notes, those are what you're going to use to study from. There are no books in this class. All the material is in the handouts, the worksheets that we do during class. Don't even throw them out at the end of each unit. Save them until the end of the year. Then you can have a big bonfire in my honor, okay? Why? Because at the end of the year, there's going to be a final exam that's going to cover everything. You're going to want to have those papers for that. Okay, I already talked about the $15. Don't think there's any questions on that. Try to bring that into me tomorrow. That's one of the 3 homework assignments. Flip over to the back now. Grading. What grade do you get if you have an 89.99% of B? I do not round up. Why? Because I'm just mean that way. Because I was beaten as a child and I'm going to take it out on you guys. No, that's not the reason why. I'm joking. I joke a lot in here in case you didn't hear it.
Sure you won't round up?
I feel much better now that you laugh.
You honestly won't round up?
No, I honestly won't round up, and here's why. Your grades are updated on a daily basis in here. You can check them at home. I provide extra credit every quarter. You know whether or not you're going to need extra credit. Do it. I'm generous with the score on that, and the points on that. If you don't do it, it's your own downfall, okay? I don't. If I were to round that up, that would be giving you something that you didn't earn. You earn a grade in here. It's not given to you. If she wants to share it, she will. Okay? The next section, my expectations. I have a check system. I'll give you checks for breaking rules. I don't have to do that very often. My 2 biggest things that I have issues with are tardies and dishonesty. Okay? Most people are respectful. That's my first rule there, is respect. And they give me their attention like you are right now, and they don't talk while I'm talking. But some people still don't understand what dishonesty is. Okay? If you're outside and you have her paper and you're holding them up there and you're writing your name on one, that's cheating. I don't know what's going on in your head. I don't know if you're copying stuff off of her paper, but there's no reason you should have a classmate's paper in your possession. That's cheating. And not only will you get the 0, but so will she. Because I don't know who's cheating off of whom. And it's not up to me to determine what's going on in your head. It's her paper, shouldn't be in your possession. Yes?
What if it's like holding?
Again, why? There's no reason someone else should have your work. And there's no way I'm going to know whether or not you're being honest or dishonest. Any more than if you're here in class and we're taking a test and you're doing this. Maybe you just find the other person really attractive. Maybe you just thought it was weird the way they made their letters on their text. I don't know what's going on in your head. What I do know is that you have access to the information you're not supposed to have. Okay? So those are the rules. If we're doing a lab and you break any of the lab rules, you'll be taken off and given a 0 on that. Just like you will if you come in late and you try to give me the assignment or you're tardy. I don't take work when you're tardy. We've already started grading it. Sorry, you got a 0 on it. Okay? So read through the back of this if you didn't have a chance to already at home. Any questions on what the 3 homework assignments are? Good. Okay, again, to repeat what they are, it's a learning contract, this here, $15 in cash or check, and the third thing is that little 1-page report about the websites. Yes?
If we run a check, what does it have to be right now?
McGee Middle School. Okay? All right, go ahead and pack up so you're ready to go, and we're going to take this as much as we can. Excuse me, we're not done. No more outbursts, please. We're going to take this little quiz here together. See if you were paying attention in case I give this on paper tomorrow. Hint, hint. Question 1. Which of the following is true about the internet and this class? There is no website. The website is for email only. The website has grades and links only. Or Mr. Myers is a techno geek with many resources on his site.
All the above.
D. I am a major techno geek. I use technology whenever I can.
Can we write this down for you?
Well, that's up to you. If you already know it, then you don't need to write it down. Which of the following is true regarding late work? It is never accepted. It's only accepted if absent, 1 day for each day gone to turn it in. C, it is accepted up until the final week of each quarter. Or D, it can be turned in for half credit up to 3 days late. B is correct. Okay, let's see how many of these we can get done here. What do you do first when returning from an absence?
B.
Ah. Ah.
D.
D. You do both those. You check the board and you fill in the log if there's something written in black. Which of these is true about the excused assignment log? You're right. All of them are true. You need to know how to use that log. Which of the following will not result in a 0 on an assignment? Chewing gum. C. Okay. Yeah, I don't want you chewing gum and I will make you spit it out, but that's not going to give you a 0. Sharing answers, also known as cheating, will. Writing in colors other than black or blue, breaking a lab rule. And if you come in tardy and we're grading the assignment, you get a 0. By the way, if you're absent and you make up work, what do you do with that made up work? Throw it away? No.
Save it in a folder
No,
at home.
you made up the work,
Turn it
turn it
in.
into me. Do not put it in those baskets over there, okay? The baskets are what I put the work in that has already been graded and put in the computer. You put it in the basket, I'll never see it. Yeah.
Is that like watching us?
What is your best resource to prepare for tests and quizzes in this class? A. Notes, worksheets, and other quizzes. No textbook. The internet's not going to be that useful for material that I've taught in this class. Which of the following is true about special projects? C. $15 is required. No, it's not optional. And the rockets and circuits, that's what Ms. Salzman does. We do them all in class. They're not homework assignments.
Is this solving cool?
Which of the following is true about tardies in this class? Yeah, I hate them. That should be that would be D, but that's not up there. Is this one correct? Turn the work into me? No, because if you're tardy, you get a 0 on the assignment. What about this one? Third tardy will result in a lunch detention. Yes, lunch detention. And then fourth tardy is a referral. Yes.
So when we get lunch detention, will we get to like bring the food in and
Yes.
take it out?
I usually have some other work for you to do though. Okay, last one. Which of the following is not true about this class? B. Do not round grades up. Okay? Any questions on anything? Yes? Okay, again, to repeat, your 3 homework assignments are learning contract, $15, and the 3 paragraphs from the internet. Okay?